We left a suburb of Kampala called Kansanga. Then we continued through the suburb of Bunga. As we clear Bunga, we'll get to Munyonyo. For the last 20 months, the Gillard family has resided in Munyonyo. It's been a nice existence, nestled in the hills of these tropical highlands, right on the equator, right on the shores of Lake Victoria. You know, we really appreciate these groups that come. Of course, the visitors leave, and when they leave, they don't go as they came. They're changed. But they really have a good impact here on the disciples here in Uganda. A lot of the leaders here, and certainly most of the members here in Uganda, are brand new to the Lutheran Church. It was planted in 1994 by people from Ghana. So they haven't always had first-hand pictures of what it's like to live a life of discipleship as a Lutheran Christian. So people come in with various trainings, different workshops, programs and presentations, and you roll it all together, and it's just a real big blessing to people in Uganda who are figuring out being Lutherans for the first time. It's true. A lot of folks come to Uganda and they really want to do projects. That's not always so helpful. We could do another video on just the problems that crop up when you come in with what to you is a little money, but what is to Ugandans an obscene amount of money. So people come in, they want to do projects, but let me tell you, what's needed even more than projects is presence. We've got Lutherans all across Uganda crying out, yearning for a long-term missionary presence in their midst. Michelle and I are only one missionary couple. We can't be everywhere at once in these 80 congregations. The LCMU is slowly building their capacity of their own indigenous pastors. We really need some people to stand in the gap right now. We need some people to come with an incarnational ministry and be Jesus with flesh on in Uganda. People ask me what we do in Uganda. When you first get to a country, your job is to bond with the people, and that includes learning the language as much as you're able. Michelle and I have spent a lot of time learning Luganda, and so we know some marketplace Luganda, let's say. After learning the culture and the language, we're really here to do what Lutherans throughout time and all across the world do best. That's offer training, teaching and training. Who do I teach and train? Primarily 24 men who were identified before I came here as men who should be invested in, men who are already leaders in their congregation as worship leaders, as evangelists, and as preachers. They come to me twice a month here in the capital for advanced training. Then they go back, and by Sunday morning, they're often implementing what they just learned on Friday and Saturday. When those guys aren't coming to me, I'm going out to them to encourage them, just walk with them, and offer more training and workshops in their locales. How big is Uganda? It's not so small. Uganda is slightly smaller than Minnesota, or slightly smaller than Oregon. But it's hard to get around. You've got really nice roads in Oregon and Minnesota. So it takes us a while just to go 120 miles. I try to get to as many places as I can. The LCMU has about 80 congregations. I think so far I've been to almost 50. So I'm out in the villages, and people are so happy that you've arrived. Let me tell you, when you arrive in a village in Uganda, it's a unique experience. People are dancing, people are singing. People in Uganda really know how to host. There's drinks and there's food after food, and of course there's introductions and greetings that can go on for hours. People want to hear about the news from where you came, and of course it's polite for you to ask the news at the place you've just arrived. After you spend some time with people, sharing life, offering some training, they always have requests for you to return. They always have requests for you to visit the village on the other side of the next hill. I tell you, it's heartbreaking sometimes because I literally don't have the time. I'm only one man in a country slightly smaller than Minnesota or Oregon. I'm only one man and I don't have the time to go to all these places and visit. It'd be great to have a team of career missionaries, of long-term volunteer missionaries, to join me to go to these places and make these visits. Can you imagine yourself traveling to a remote, isolated village? Even a place where they have not seen white men in 100 years. Those places still exist in Uganda, and I've been to a few of them. Can you imagine yourself going to a place like that, being received as a welcome visitor? Can you imagine going there, bringing the gospel to people, encouraging local leaders, just blessing them with a message from God's Word, letting them know that they're not alone, reminding them, encouraging them to keep on keeping on. Let me tell you, at the end of the day, in a situation like that, you always find that you are the one who's received the greatest blessing. I firmly believe in letting the church be the church. That means the church should be about ministry and not projects. There is nothing wrong with microloan schemes, but let's face it, there are international aid organizations that have the expertise to run microloan schemes far better than we in the church can run them. Honestly, the Lutheran Church in Uganda does not have the full capacity to run every last social ministry organization. But I'm happy to report that the Lutheran Church Mission in Uganda does have the capacity to reach out boldly with the saving gospel that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. Our number one prayer request right now is that you'd pray with us for long-term missionaries in Uganda. In terms of ministry, in terms of applying yourself to a task and getting a job done, why, there's nothing as great as working as a team. For the first 14 months of our time here, we're so blessed to be working as a team with Shawan and Krista Trump. Shawan was placed here as a vicar from Concordia Seminary, St. Louis. He's since been repositioned. They've assigned him to Kenya and Tanzania. So Jake and Michelle, Amelia and Evangeline, we remain here as career missionaries on our own. Yet we are yearning to rebuild a team. I think that goes along with this request for more long-term workers. It's our prayer that people would come here and join us in the work.